I mean, one of the things this guy said, lupins was, as you just mentioned, was mainly grown as feedstock.
Yes.
Do you see, you know, from an entrepreneur point of view, from a business point of view, or someone saying, hey, you know, is there something else out there that is similar?
Because anything that comes from a primary produce level, there's avenues all the way up from primary produce to culinary use. So from the farming to the seeding, because it's in a pod there, it comes out as a seed, milling process, right through to the baking produce, and then you've got the associated foods as well, like chickpeas, a low GI, and the legume family. So mixing and matching chickpea flour and lupin flour. So right through to chefs and hospitality industry, there's a lot of opportunities in West Australia and Australia, even to connect to international companies and international businesses. And like I said, combining legumes and pulses, or combining lupin flour with other already accepted flours, keeping with the low GI thing though, because the low glycemic index and low carb is a huge thing dietary wise at the moment. So it's maybe the trend is one of the trends is low carb. So lupins fits seamlessly into that. I can only see it growing as far as, because I'm a health food chef. I can only see it growing and on me using it more and more in the future, and combining it and coming up with different recipes, like I said, and alternative swap outs.
I mean, I can see that the trend. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, wherever you go now, I mean, low GI food is everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, low GI bread, low carb bread, it's everywhere. As we spoke before, you know, low GI rice.
Yes, low GI rice.
And the people are now, you know, although it was a trend, it was a trendy cafe, you went and had wild rice or brown rice, but I think these things are more often used now.
Yes.
So I think it's really interesting. When I saw the article and they talk about this, I thought, geez, you know, I never thought about that. And they've obviously got some sort of, you know, they had packets, so it's like snacks.
Yes.
So I mean, snacking is kind of a habitual thing that human beings do, you know, and that's why, you know, things like smoking take off and things like that. But you know, having a packet of CCs or chips, which if those things were healthy, then imagine the size of that market.
Huge.
You know, huge market, you know.
Well, as we were saying in the last video too, that diabetes is on plague proportions worldwide, and pre-diabetes, which a lot of people have got without knowing, huge numbers. You know, if you talking 10% of Chinese population, etc., that's massive numbers, and it's only growing. So if we're actually looking at lupins being a new wave of food products, that will treat and help that. So if you put your lupin flour with stevia, which is a non-sugar sweetener, all of a sudden you get a low GI food snack. You're talking about snacks, and so you can actually reach into the bag and bring it, and it's not going to play with your insulin and your blood sugar levels, which would help with prevention of diabetes and prevention of pre-diabetes, which is pre-diabetes has got a lot of symptoms associated. Like I said, if people wake up at night, that's a worrying sign. If they wake up to go to the bathroom at night, that's a worrying sign for pre-diabetes. Wanting to sleep during the day, going to the toilet too much, craving sugars and carbohydrate foods is another sign. There's a lot of signs of pre-diabetes that a lot of people are displaying every day without knowing. So lupins and chickpeas, and the reason lupins and chickpeas are lower GI is they've got less carbohydrates, and they've got more complex carbohydrates in there that are harder to break down. So for the body to break those carbohydrates down in the digestive system, they release into the bloodstream at a slower rate. So it keeps the glycemic, like lentils are GI 32. GI, that's very low. And okay, even though you think lentils, aren't they carbohydrated? Yes, they are carbohydrated, but it's the complexity of the carbohydrates that are slow breakdown and slow release. And lentils even, lupin is even lower than lentils. So basically, make a lentil dal, and highly nutritious, a lot of protein there, which is good for the brain and good for your body repair. Good. I would even think that lentils and even lupins will be sports nutrition food in the future, like high-end sports nutrition.
I mean, can you actually buy lupin flour now in WA?
Yeah, there's a business in near Geraldton that actually grow lupins, and they've also got a bakery and a shop there where they sell lupin products. You can get lupin premix to make muffins. You get the raw lupin flour. Once you've got the standard lupin basic flour, it's up to you what you make from that. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of recipes is a 1-to-1 swap with wheat flour, and wheat flour basically higher GI, a lot, especially white flour, and you got the gluten in there, which a lot of people have problems with the gas and the bloating and tummy pains. With the lupins, you haven't got the gluten straight away. It's low GI, higher protein, so ticking a lot of boxes there, and it's a pretty well a one-to-one swap out with a lot of recipes.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. Probably a good spot to sort of end this segment here, Paul. But I think, you know, there's a lot of traction here. I can see. I mean, I think the market is one of those big things. I mean, if you look at just trying to service that pre-diabetic number,
yeah,
you know, like 10%, 30% in China. But don't forget, it's not China alone. We're talking about the US, we're talking about Australia.
Yep.
You know, 30% of US or 30% of India. I think it's just a trend there. I mean, that's huge market.
Massive numbers, yeah.
You know, I reckon that's a trending place to go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But thank you, Paul, for your time, and I think I'm looking forward to more sessions.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Ciao.